The teacher thought it was a joke. The class thought it was impossible. But the quiet black girl in the back row, she did not laugh. She stepped forward anyway, and what happened next turned every eye, every whisper, into stunned silence. 12-year-old Maya Jefferson was used to being overlooked. She sat in the back of her 7th grade math class, quiet, polite, and invisible. While others competed for attention, Maya scribbled in her worn notebook, solving equations far beyond her grade level, alone. Mr. Henley, the teacher, rarely called on her, not because she misbehaved, but because he assumed she had nothing to offer. One Thursday, he stood before the class, marker in hand, ready to demonstrate a problem from the high school curriculum. "Let's have some fun," he said with a smirk. "Let's see who thinks they're smart." Students snickered. Then his eyes drifted across the room and landed on Maya. He chuckled. "Miss Jefferson, why don't you give this one a try?" A hush fell over the room. It was not an invitation, it was a setup. The board held a brutal algebraic equation that even the 8th graders struggled with last year. Maya looked up slowly. Her hands tightened on her pencil. "Sir, may I?" she asked, standing. Laughter rippled. Even Mr. Henley raised an eyebrow. "Be my guest." Maya walked slowly to the board, heart pounding. She could hear the whispers. "She's going to embarrass herself. She doesn't even talk in class. Why'd he pick her?" But Maya heard something else, her grandfather's voice from long ago. "Don't speak to be heard. Speak when it matters, and speak with your mind." She reached the board, picked up the marker, paused. Then she began to write. Not like someone guessing, not like someone afraid, but like someone who knew exactly what she was doing. Line by line, symbol by symbol, she solved it. Mr. Henley's grin faded. The students leaned forward. Maya stepped back from the board. The final answer was circled. Neat, elegant, flawless. The room went dead silent. Mr. Henley stepped forward, eyes narrowed. He checked the work. Once, twice. Then he turned to the class, clearing his throat. "That's correct." A gasp swept across the room, but Maya did not smile. She returned to her seat quietly. And that was when someone noticed something strange in her notebook. She had already solved that equation days ago on her own, in the margins. The bell rang, but no one moved. Maya quietly packed her things, eyes down. Her answer still glowed on the whiteboard behind her, undeniable. Mr. Henley stood frozen, marker still in his hand. He had expected a mistake, a mess, a lesson in failure. Instead, she taught him. "Maya," he said as the other students filed out, whispering in disbelief, "where did you learn that?" She stopped at the door. "From my grandfather," she said softly. "He was a math teacher before he passed." Henley blinked. He taught you algebra like that?" She shook her head. "No, he taught me how to love solving things." And with that, she disappeared into the hallway. Later that afternoon, Mr. Henley sat at his desk, flipping through his gradebook. Maya had straight A's, but she rarely spoke. He had never really seen her, until now. He opened the security camera feed and rewound it to the moment she wrote on the board. He watched her hands move with confidence, calm, controlled, genius, hidden behind silence. Then he did something he had never done before. He searched her name online. There it was, an article from 3 years ago.
11-year-old girl builds math app to help grandfather fight dementia. It showed Maya sitting beside a frail older man in a hospital bed, teaching him shapes and patterns that she had turned into interactive games. Tears pricked Henley's eyes. She was not just good, she was extraordinary, and he had almost made her feel small for it. The next day, Maya entered class with the same quiet posture. But the atmosphere had changed. Students looked at her differently. Some nodded. One boy moved his bag so she could sit beside him. Mr. Henley cleared his throat. "Before we begin, I want to say something." The class hushed. "I owe one of you an apology. Yesterday, I asked a question as a joke, but someone answered it with brilliance." Maya's heart thudded. She did not raise her head. "But that student," he continued, "deserves more than praise. She deserves our respect, because talent like that, especially when it's quiet, can change everything." He turned to Maya. "Would you consider tutoring our advanced group, Maya?" The room turned to her. Slowly, Maya looked up, not with fear, not with hesitation, but with quiet power. "I would love to," she said.
By Friday, Maya's life had changed. Students who never knew her name now asked her for help. Teachers peeked into Mr. Henley's class just to catch a glimpse of the girl who had silenced a room with one equation. But Maya stayed the same. She still walked to school alone, still used her cracked old notebook, still wore her grandfather's worn backpack, the one he carried during his years as a teacher in Alabama. Mr. Henley arranged a meeting with the principal. "She's solving material beyond even the 8th grade," he said. "We should consider placing her in the district's gifted program." The principal frowned. "From Jefferson Middle? That's unusual." She scrolled through Maya's file. No formal gifted testing, no parent contact on file except a guardian. Henley nodded. "Her grandfather. He passed. She's living with her aunt now." The principal hesitated. "Then we need district approval. You know how that goes." Henley left the office frustrated. He had once underestimated Maya too, but now he saw what others were still blind to. She was not just ahead, she was exceptional. That afternoon, Henley handed Maya a thick folder of advanced math problems. "I know it's extra, but I think you'll enjoy it." Maya opened it, scanning the pages. She looked up, eyes bright. "This is beautiful." She said it like someone staring at a painting. 2 days later, Maya turned in the entire packet, flawlessly solved. But it was not just the answers. It was how she thought, her own methods, shortcuts, and even explanations in the margins. She was not just repeating patterns, she was creating them. Henley shared her work with the district office. A week passed. Then came an email. "Request denied. Student does not meet district identification standards." Henley was furious. Maya was being ignored. Again. That night, he sat in his car outside the school and reread her work. He made a decision. The next morning, he stood at the board, but instead of a math lesson, he gave a challenge. "I want you all to prepare for the inter-school math exhibition next month. We'll be selecting one student to represent Jefferson Middle." Students groaned, until he added, "Maya is already nominated. She'll lead." Gasps. A few students clapped, others stared. Maya froze in her seat. She leaned forward, whispering, "But I thought I wasn't allowed." Henley smiled. "The district can deny a label,
but they can't deny brilliance when it's on stage. And that was the moment Maya realized she was no longer invisible. She was undeniable. The auditorium buzzed with noise. Bright lights, rows of chairs, the sharp scent of pencils and nerves. The annual citywide math exhibition had drawn in the best students from private academies, magnet schools, and STEM programs. Jefferson Middle had never sent anyone before. And now, all eyes were on a quiet black girl in a borrowed school blazer, holding a pencil and a calm, steady stare. Maya. Mr. Henley stood beside her backstage, adjusting her name tag. "You don't have to win," he said gently. "Just show them what you already know." Maya nodded, then turned to the stage. The moderator announced the first problem, a logic-based proof used in high school competitions. Contestants scribbled, fumbled, calculated. But Maya paused. Then she solved it backwards. Starting with the answer, she traced the steps in reverse, like unraveling a thread. The judges blinked. Whispers rose. One leaned into the mic. "Miss Jefferson, how did you learn that method?" Maya looked at the crowd. Her voice was soft, but unwavering. "I did not. I just thought about how the problem wanted to be solved." Laughter broke out from the other students, but a judge raised his hand. "That's how real mathematicians think." The next round was harder, timed. Still, Maya never rushed, and by the end of round 3, her name sat at the top of the leaderboard. Mr. Henley watched from the wings, stunned. The same girl he had once mocked had now risen above elite academies and seasoned tutors. During the break, a parent from another school approached him. "She's brilliant. Where does she take lessons?" Henley smiled. "From her grandfather, and from being ignored long enough to teach herself." Maya returned to the final round with a calm that unnerved even the most confident students. The last problem was brutal, designed to eliminate half the finalists. But Maya stood still for a full minute, eyes closed. Then she opened them and began to write. Not just an answer, but a new method. The room went silent. When the buzzer rang, the judges reviewed her board. Then one of them stood, cleared his throat, and announced, "This year's top scorer, and the only one to complete every level, is Maya Jefferson from Jefferson Middle." A wave of applause thundered through the auditorium. Maya walked to the stage slowly. She did not cry. She held the medal like it was nothing new. But backstage, when no one was watching, she whispered to herself, "I hope you saw that, Grandpa." Back at school, the district officials arrived the next day. Apologies were made. Scholarships were offered. Advanced placements approved. But Maya, she stayed humble. And when asked what she wanted next, she only said, "I want to help the next girl no one sees." Because Maya had learned something powerful. Sometimes the world does not give you a place. You carve one with quiet genius and leave it wide open for those who come next.